Wake up, rise and shine. It's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. It is July the 30th, and I don't know about you guys, but July is taking forever, in my opinion. I don't know why I forgot that it was a 31 month. I should know these things by now, but I feel like July is just dragging if you ask me. Probably a personal opinion. Good morning, Wolfram. Thank you for doing the mod thing. And Christine, good morning. Good morning, King Bob. Nice to see you. And Jedi Jess, good morning. So we have all of the crazy news. We don't have an animal lover like yesterday, but thank God, because that story nearly broke me, I think. Our first story, well, killer whales. Apparently, Free Willy is no longer a friend of humans. He has rallied people or his fellow orcas around, well, capsizing boats for some reason. Killer whales sink a $128,000 yacht in a terrifying 2-hour Mediterranean Sea attack. Quote, it was like watching wolves hunt. Oh, well, yeah. It's it's a different wig. I like it. It's all the colors of the rainbow. Orcas relentlessly battered a yacht in a terrifying 2-hour attack Wednesday that didn't end until the over $120,000 vessel was sunk to the bottom of the Mediterranean. Robert Powell, 59, and his crew were just 22 hours into their 10-day trip from Vilamora, Portugal to Greece when a pod set its sight on the very expensive sailing boat. To me, they were not playing at all. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew the weak points of the boat and how to sink it. You guys, what have I told you about flushing your Adderall? This is how we get super orcas. I mean, and given the current educational state of American high schools, we're going to have smarter orcas than high school teenagers. And look, I don't know what the orcas' agenda is. So I'm just saying, this is what happens when you make animals super smart and then they figure out our weakness that, we can't breathe underwater. This seems like a terrible idea. Their sole intention was to sink the boat, and that was it, according to the captain. So the captain, he has a problem with orcas like I do with deer, and they just don't like him for some reason. We have to get to the bottom of this. Well, yeah, Jedi Jess, maybe we are leaving enough in our pee to go out into the oceans and still make the orcas smart. Thank you, Captain Kern. 5 orcas circled the 39-foot sailing boats and took turns smashing it to bits around 8 p.m. in a coordinated assault, Powell compared to the carnage of wolves. The IT company owner said he felt the first hit on the bottom of the boat, named Bonhomme William, and assumed they had run over a rock. Whilst I was looking around the boat to see if I could see anything, I was doing about 5 or 6 knots. It got hit again. This poor man. What did you do to upset the orcas? Did you not watch Free Willy? Did you not? On the second hit, I looked over the back of the boat and could see a large shape of a killer whale in the water. The pot of five first focused on the rudder, rendering the sailboat unable to steer after about 15 hits. That's when the orcas separated and each concentrated on their own section of the boat's exterior, including the keel and stern. They were circling. It was like watching wolves hunt. They were taking turns to come in. Sometimes two would come in at the same time and hit it. So it was obviously pretty terrifying. It took an hour and a half until the hull finally buckled beneath the whale's pressure and split, causing water to gush into the main living area. Though they were just 2 miles off the coast of Spain, the crew radioed for help as soon as the attack began, and it took almost 2 hours for help to arrive. So thank goodness they got the killer whale signal out among the, I guess, Spanish Coast Guard. A Spanish salvage vessel fortunately helped them abandon the stricken ship just minutes before it sunk at 130 feet below the Mediterranean surface. Powell, who lost his birthday trip and his ritzy boat, said he tried everything from popping firecrackers in the water to turning off the engine to deter the attack, but the pod was determined. It was a very long attack, and it was really violence of the attack that scared me, he said. A former boat owner believes the pod, which includes 2 juveniles, could be the same group responsible for terrorizing other skippers in European waters. So, what you're telling me is we have a group of orca youths that are going out and destroying boats because they have nothing to do. Ocean imitates life. I have a feeling that this group are boat sinkers. I think they knew what they were doing. I'm sure of it. In May, a pack of killer whales sank a 50-foot yacht on Moroccan waters after repeatedly slamming into the vessel. Orcas also interfered with a sailing race last year when a boat traveling from the Netherlands to Italy had a 15-minute showdown with the mammals. The crew was forced to drop its sails and make a ruckus to repel them. Some studies suggest that orcas are targeting boats for fun. It's only a matter of time before someone shoots one of these killer whales, Powell ominously warned. The fight between man and beast is going to get worse. Lucky none of us were in the water or got hurt. And that's a lottery as to whether they hit you or not. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I like Captain Kern's idea. They're millennial whales. They were planking, but you have to plank on top of a boat. They've got underwater TikTok. Hey guys, we're gonna go. It's a prank, bro. It's a prank. We're gonna prank this boat real quick. Anywho, between the shark attacks and now coordinated killer whale boat sinkings, I think I'll just stay to pools. I think I will. In celebrity news, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's son, Pax, was rushed to a hospital after a pretty big motorcycle crash. He is riding a purple dirt bike. I don't know that that would fly in my neck of the woods, but there you go. It's a cool looking bike thing. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's second oldest son, Pax Jolie Pitt, was rushed to the hospital after sustaining a head injury following a harrowing crash in Los Angeles Monday. The 20-year-old was driving down Los Feliz Boulevard around 5 p.m. on his electric bike when he crashed into the back of a car, law enforcement told TMZ. Pax was not wearing a helmet at the time of the crash and then was transported to a nearby hospital after complaining about a head injury and hip pain after the impact. Pax was reportedly stable now and is expected to be discharged from the hospital on Tuesday. But again, if you're out on a motorcycle, please wear a helmet. If if possible, if there's and look, I know that it's incumbent on me as a motorist to pay attention to motorcyclers, and I love genuine bike riders. I don't care what kind of, bike you ride, Harley or Ducati or crotch rocket, but genuine responsible bike riders are the greatest people ever. Um, Moron idiot teenage boys who are doing wheelies in and out of the freeway without helmets on piss me off. Now, I understand that as a part of being a dumb teenage boy, but watch out. Watch out. And I'm paying attention to you. I'm trying to be a safe driver. Look, invincible teenage men who think that they are on a crotch rocket of safety, please do not play idiot with your life. It is not worth it. It is not worth it to do wheelies and get there 0.5 second faster because you are, zipping in and out of cars. Those are the bike riders that really irritate me. But other than that, I have met the nicest people, will help you if you have a flat tire or anything like that, but just wear a helmet, be safe, and pay attention because some of these guys, I don't know if it's, hot boy summer or, crotch rocket summer, but y'all chill out because you make me nervous when I'm driving with you 'cause my mom brain turns on and I'm like, "Oh my god, someone's poor mother. Are you the youngest, most feral of your family? Because I can just imagine you gave your mama gray hair. Stop doing that." Well, I don't know if you'd mind prison so much if she was your guard. Unfortunately, she's also well, she's also going to prison too. A female prison guard admitted to having smexy time with an inmate in a recorded cell romp faces possible life sentence. Well, I guess that's one way to lose it all on OnlyFans. A British female prison officer arrested after being allegedly filmed having the smexy time with an inmate inside his prison cell pled guilty to misconduct on Monday. Linda de Sosa Abreu, 30, was working at London's Wandsworth prison when she was caught having the smexy time with a prisoner on June 27th, which was recorded by another inmate, helpfully, I'm sure, uh, and went viral on social media, the BBC reported. Prosecutors say that Linda, who runs an OnlyFans account, knowingly took part in the raunchy video with Linton Wyrich, a felon booked on a $82,000 luxury good heist in Kensington. Well, I mean, as happens, she just fell in there and all of a sudden I have seen videos about this on the hub. I know exactly what happened. There was a wash machine. She got stuck. She was trying to have these poor inmates help her. How in the world? Sousa was very clearly an enthusiastic participant who wrongly thought she could avoid responsibility, prosecutor Teha Turkson said. And I guess this is the only bit of the video we're allowed to see. This is a shocking breach of the public's trust. Uh, Linda, who appeared at the hearing wearing white pants and a brown top and a matched white jacket, remained mum while heading into Isleworth Crown Courthouse in West London. She pled guilty to one count of misconduct in a public office, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. Well, I mean, she cleans up okay, but I don't know that I would wear white to a courtroom in which I'm accused of making a smexy time video with a prisoner as a police guard. I don't know if white is the right color for that. Oh, Lord. Here she is in her other uniform, I guess. I mean, she's got a nice figure. I don't get it. She was granted conditional bail and scheduled to reappear in court on November 7th. Her lawyers did not immediately issue a statement. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go into this, I would go full force. I would have worn, like, Spanx and something in bright red. I mean, if you're gonna go full Scarlet Letter, uh, then I kinda think that one should just lean all the way into it. Dress up like Dolly Parton from The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. I mean, that's what I would do, but I would dress up as Dolly Parton anyway. And she's married too, and having this mexy time with prisoners, and has an OnlyFans account, and I'm sure her husband is so proud of her. Yay! Was arrested earlier this month following a police investigation that identified her as the guard that was, having relations with a prisoner last month. Linda, who holds a Portuguese passport, was booked at Heathrow Airport trying to catch a flight to Madrid after calling her employers to say she was not returning to work. While she has remained silent over her arrest, De Sousa Abreu spoke up earlier this month to condemn prawn stars who are pretending to be her on OnlyFans and filming parodies of her video. Well, I mean, the worst case scenario in all of this is if they made a parody of your video and someone, tried to scam your account on OnlyFans, not that whole life in prison thing you're facing. Wonderful. Well, probably. Probably. Anywho, I'm sure she'll get a slap on the wrist and, then have to film a lawyer video, I'm sure. I don't know. She could have a whole genre, men in the workforce. I don't know. Ma'am, I don't know what you're going to do, but that might be a soul search situation you have to do yourself. Scott Peterson is looking to break his silence over the Lacey Peterson murder. Now, I am going to do an update video, but the court has allowed Scott Peterson's defense team to retest DNA that is under conjecture in the case. So, this will be something that I will be watching and looking forward to. Uh, I will go ahead and tell you guys, I have a hard time not really disliking Scott Peterson as a person. So I am willing to listen to evidence, but I think he is a terrible, terrible human being. Um, so it doesn't take much if you have, and the state from the paperwork and the hearings that I've gone through thus far does have a lot of circumstantial evidence. So I am willing to have my mind completely blown and Scott Peterson is completely innocent, but that will not make him not a douchebag to me. So let's get into this. After the LA Innocence Project took up his case, convicted murderer Scott Peterson has broken a long silence in a three-part Peacock true crime docuseries. Face to Face with Scott Peterson, a Universal Television alternate studios series, is set to bow in. Okay, it's called a copy editor. I need you to make sentences that make sense so that I can read them. And it will see Peterson give his first on-camera interview since 2003 as he discusses the notorious murders of his wife Lacey and his unborn son Connor. Now, I do think that I will be doing commentary on the we are so it's just a wig that has various shades of blonde and red on it. It's kind of a mix match wig. I would be interested to hear from his own words. I will tell you that just innately, the way he spoke in the Diane Sawyer interview, to me, I don't trust the validity that comes out of his mouth. And that was before when I was just 12 years old. When I was just 12 years old, or whenever this happened, I think I was right coming out of high school. So I graduated in '02. And I remember seeing that interview and I said, "He seems really fake. He seems very greasy." Oh, no, I don't have 2 wigs on. It's just a wig that goes from red to blonde or blonde to red. So, no, I haven't done anything like put 2 wigs on yet, but maybe someday. I mean, if this year gets any crazier. The official teaser trailer, which dropped on Monday, includes jailhouse footage of Peterson being interviewed, but he does not speak on camera. That, according to Peacock, will come with the docuseries where Peterson will be giving his side of the story to series director Shireen Anderson, who has been investigating the murder case for over a decade. And thank you, Grumpy Granny, for joining us. The non oh, the docuseries will also premiere in the wake of the Los Angeles Innocence Project announcing it will investigate Peterson's case as the 20th anniversary of his conviction approaches. The nonprofit works to exonerate wrongly convicted criminals, arguing that Peterson's case and federal constitutional rights were violated and new evidence backs his claim of innocence. Peterson was convicted of the murder in 2004 and received a death sentence a year later. The sentence was eventually reduced to life in prison without parole. While many still believe that the jury got it right, Scott's family and experts close to the case have spent over 20 years committed to uncovering inconsistencies in the evidence as well as new information and alternative theories surrounding Lacey's murders. Producers of Peacock's docuseries said in a statement on Monday. So that would be Jedi just yeah, it does seem optically like a bit of a huge gambit to put your, let's be honest, fairly unpopular, and most people will have these feelings, and I think that the Innocence Project would be naive to discount the fact that a lot of people think that he is a crappy human being and therefore is automatically guilty. I think that unless he has gained some sort of ability to look humble, to express his faults, and to communicate with compassion, humility, and, well, truth, without that oily veneer that he did have in that Diane Sawyer interview, I don't think this is going to play well for him. And I think that the Innocence Project has shown that they take on cases that maybe are much more nebulous than they want to make them seem. I think that they've had several very public missteps with sort of the lawyer who had a relationship with her, exoneree, and basically honeypotted another convict into saying, "Hey, I did it. It wasn't him." And now that convict is like, "Wait a minute, I'm still in jail. This is dumb. He did it." So I do think that the optics on this are interesting. I think it's far enough removed from the original instant that people that were born after this won't really know anything beyond media coverage. And I think that that might be what the Innocence Project is banking on, that people who didn't, you know, weren't there as things slowly trickled out, but now just see what the media is showing them around that time. I think that might be where they're going to get a lot of their support. But I'm just a weirdo on the internet who wears wigs. So those are just my thoughts. But I think that this could optically either go well for them and to introduce a softer, more truthiness side to Scott Peterson, though I doubt that that is a role that he can even play with some verisimilitude. I feel like no, this is either going to work very well or it is going to be the death nail. But that's me. And then next. Now, you guys, if internet commentary doesn't work out for me, I've decided I'm going to be a professional mermaid. And I've just decided this is my job if this doesn't work out. I'm a professional mermaid. A woman opens up about life in the water and includes her $6,000 tail. Well, I mean, if you have to pay $6K for tail, that better be good tail. That's my only dad joke for the morning. Over 8 years, Brandy Anthony has built an aquatic empire around mermaiding. Okie dokie. Brandy Anthony, also known as the Vero Beach Mermaid, got an unconventional start to the art of mermaiding. Initially, she only got the idea as a stunt for her streaming channel on Periscope. I wanted to go live underwater because I'm a complete water child, she tells people exclusively. I thought I'll go live underwater as a mermaid. That way, viewers will have something interesting to watch. I did some research and found it. The mermaid tail got a GoPro, and that's literally how it started. Not only did it work for her streaming idea, but Anthony found she absolutely fell in love with being a mermaid. It's such a simple, little fabric tail, but the feeling of swimming in a tail in a monofin just totally fit for me, and I was hooked. Inspired by her new talent, Anthony began the Vero Beach Mermaid brand within a week. It's been 8 years since, and she's proud to have grown her mermaid world into a number of businesses I do now. In the beginning, it was just fun. It was well received by my community here locally, and I just had a lot of enjoyment from putting on the tail and being a mermaid. Why do I have a feeling that by the end of the year, I'm going to see Shark Attack's mermaid performer? And I, I mean, it is a pretty nice looking tail, I'll be honest. I don't know that I'd spend $6,000 for that, but I'm pretty sure I could sew together something for 300 that looks about like it. I mean, there you go. What can you do? As a photographer and content creator, she was already familiar with the creative space, and she merged those skills with mermaiding. Next thing I know, I have a few more tales, and now I'm putting other people in tales for photo shoots and mermaid experiences. Anthony says, then it started to really take flight for me, or swim or dive, when I decided to start teaching people how to be a mermaid underwater, which is essentially a form of diving. How the hell did I not think of this up? For the love of all that is holy, I could have been a mermaid. Doggone it. Geez, mom, never see, I told my mom I wanted to be a mermaid and she never nurtured my dream. Mom, I could have been an entrepreneuress and a mermaid. See, you have to be you have to be positive about kids' dreams. Anthony teaches PADI free diving and mermaid certification, which allows others to engage in mermaid free dives. We do it a lot of or we do a lot of it retreat style, so you can travel worldwide with us to beautiful locations. You can learn how to free dive with either a bifin or a monofin, and it's been a huge success. I've gone to beautiful places with PADI certified people. She continues from teaching kids to adults, courses in a pool to a retreat out in the open ocean and exotic places. Teaching safety, teaching conservation, and how to care for the marine world is special. We're giving people that narrative of how to be a steward to the water. I really could. Uh, so, there you go. I've decided I'm going to become a mermaid, you guys. 2024. In sharing her craft on TikTok, Anthony has gone viral for letting people into her world and sharing how she cares for her high quality, expensive fins. People ask what mermaid tails are made of, and you have a few different fabrics, some scuba knit material or stretchy kind of swimsuit material. Most mermaid tails are swimmable, but some online are not safe to swim in. That's why our courses are of such importance to us. They teach people what monofins are and what tails are safe. Yeah, you don't want to get unsafe tail online. Seems like that could be a life lesson for all of us. Think of the mermaids. Don't get unsafe tail online. My full silicone tail made by Finfolk Productions is 35 pounds of pure skin silicone with a monofin built into the base so you can have propulsion underneath all that silicone. You guys, that's the same kind of silicone that they use in adult sculptural objects that are used to mimic, real life appendages, if you will. And I shouldn't know that, but I have done enough stories about those sculptural items that I know that that kind of silicone is used in adult sculptural items. They require a bit of care, a lot of time. A lot of times, if you don't properly dry out something like that, just like anything else, humidity builds up in there. It might not last as long as you want. So, making sure that your tail is both properly dried and disinfected is important. That tail is $6,000, which drops jaws, but it is wearable art. It's like putting on an incredible one of a kind painting on your wall. You only wear it on your body. So there you go. Anthony notes professional mermaids will only own a couple of those in your career, so they're well worth the investment. They're incredible to dive in, they're so fluid and actually have amazing propulsion. People ask it if they're hard to swim in, and the answer is actually no. As long as you can connect your body to the mono movement, well, she's expecting my body to connect to any movement. That's going to be a no go. Silicone tails are incredibly fun and powerful to swim in. I can dive down up to 20 meters on one breath on a silicone or in a silicone tail. So as of so there you go. Become a mermaid. Spend $6,000 and always remember to disinfect it and dry out your tail when you get home. And don't be fooled by shiny tails online. Sometimes they're not safe. I feel like we need to do an internet mermaid, or a mermaid's guide to the internet, and basically everything I've just said here kinda goes with the internet, like, "Hey, don't buy tail that you can't verify on the internet. Check. Be a smart mermaid. Always dry and disinfect your tail if you're going to use it. Check, check." I feel like I'm going to write my boy children a mermaid book for their teenage years. Oh, dear lord. What is oh, yes. In New York, if you're done, paying $6,000 for tail, you can go spend $150 for a cheeseburger, because why not? You're a mermaid and you have clams to sell or clams to spend, so, why not? I y'all, people have lost their doggone minds. 150 daggone dollars? No. This nosh requires more bread than most. As if the Big Apple didn't have enough ritzy repasts of late, creative Japanese cocktail bar Sip and Guzzle is getting in on this gastronomic gold rush by selling a $150 beef sandwich that is served on a golden platter. Dubbed the Royal with Cheese, this this souped up Sammy was recently described by York City food influencer Ella Khan as the fanciest cheeseburger you're ever going to eat. Sip and Guzzle specializes in offbeat food and drink hybrids. Its culinary crown jewel is arguably the aforementioned nosh, which was created by chef Mike Bagley, who used to helm Chicago's three Michelin star restaurant Alina. So there you go. You can get a real expensive cheeseburger. The high price hero features A5 Mizaki Wagyu tenderloin, the highest graded beef in the world, known for its snowflake like vein of marbling in each cut. Then it's topped with aged white cheddar, evoking a highfalutin Philly cheesesteak. He rounds off the delicate grinder with minced onions, special wasabi based barbecue sauce, smoked soy sauce, brown sugar, tomato, rice vinegar, shoy koi, a Japanese condiment with a special fungus, rice, and water. Yeah, no, none of this is making me want to spend $150. Finally, the Royale is bookended by Silkum milk bread flown fresh in from Jinsei Niswaka Bakery in LA and served in a golden bento like box. Voila, dinners are ready to literally eat the rich. By the way, you can wash it down with a white truffle milkshake or black truffle cherry soda float for only $50. The Royal might seem like it skews more to style than substance, but the diners that had it have been quick to heap praise on it. Just no, I am not spending $150 for steak. It's just not going to happen. Not. In addition to the Royale, Sip and Guzzle offers an array of other opulent eats, including airy chips made of puffed chicken skin adorned with tea smoked golden oyster caviar or orestra for $165. Yeah, no, I'm okay with it. Now, this is not the most expensive sandwich in New York City. That honor goes to the quintessential quintessential grilled cheese at Serendipity 3, which is $215 and also happens to be the priciest hero on the planet according to Guinness World Records. I mean, if this thing doesn't cure glaucoma, give me the speed of a cheetah and everything else, I'm not paying $150 for it. It's just not happening. No, I refuse. Well, everyone, let let the hair plug recipients rejoice. We may have, and the entire Canton police, state troopers, we may have a breakthrough for baldness. Sugar gel allegedly has stimulated hair growth. So if you have, a little bit of unpleasant bald spotterism, this might help. Is there a sweet new solution to the bitter luck of baldness? Scientists say they might have accidentally discovered a revolutionary cure for male pattern baldness, a genetic condition that affects up to half of men and a quarter of women by age 50. A research team from the University of Sheffield in England and Comstats University in Pakistan stumbled upon this while studying how naturally occurring deoxyribose sugar could heal wounds. Researchers were applying the sugar to wounds of lab mice when they noticed that the fur around the lesions grew rapidly. Fascinated by the development, they took their investigation further. Scientists applied a small dose of sugar to male mice with testosterone driven hair loss, noting that it helped form new blood vessels leading to hair regrowth. Our research suggests that the answer to treating hair loss might be as simple as using naturally occurring deoxyribose sugar to boost blood supply to hair follicles to encourage hair growth. Well, those hair plug doctors are going to be real upset. Uh, Researchers found the gel to be just as effective as minoxidil, a treatment for hair loss known as the brand Rogaine. While Rogaine has been shown to slow hair loss and promote some regrowth, it doesn't work for everyone who experiences baldness. The Food and Drug Administration has approved two drugs to treat hereditary pattern baldness, minoxidil and propecia, designed to keep testosterone flowing through the body. Uh, Flinisteride, which is approved for men but not women, has been shown to slow hair loss 80 to 90% of the time in male patients. However, it has been shown with side effects such as depression, ED, reduced libido, testicle pain, and idolizing self deletion. So you'll get a lovely head of hair, but your equipment won't work. Generally, you're getting the hair so you can get someone to find someone to have working equipment. Dang it. Others who suffer hair loss opt for laser treatments or transplant surgery. Anti-aging guru Brian Johnson swears by triple-pronged approach of red light therapy, microneedling, and topical treatments. Due to the limited options and potential side effects, the promise of a safe, non-invasive baldness gel could be a breakthrough medication. If this sugar proves effective in humans, it could also be used to treat alopecia and possibly stimulate hair, lash, and eyebrow growth after chemotherapy. And that it would be a good thing, and I think that if we could find something that would help with this that doesn't have all those crazy side effects, because look, as a lady, I don't have to deal with male pattern baldness, but we all have those things about ourselves that we wish we could fix or maybe look better, and if this is something that could help a lot of people not hate looking in the mirror, I'd be great with it. Now, I'm saying that my dad has a lovely head of hair, so I would like my sons to, whenever they get to of an age, to thank me profusely for their genetic lottery win with me as a mom. I doubt that'll ever happen, but I will be waiting for it, you know? Just reminding them, "Hey, you have a great set of hair because of me." In what It's Florida Man. I mean, are we shocked? But Florida Man. Want to see what kind of man I am. The most terrifying statement ever said at a Florida get together of any kind. A Florida man allegedly shot his cousin multiple times after masculinity was questioned during an argument over a parking space. Apparently, the look on this guy's face, it was in fact that deep, and he did have to fight for that parking space. A Florida man was arrested over the weekend after he allegedly shot his cousin multiple times over an argument about a parking space, police in the Sunshine State say. Elder Cruz, 51, stands accused of one count each of attempted felony murder causing an injury while armed, grand theft involving a firearm, and discharging a firearm in a recreational or residential area, according to Miami-Dade County Court records. The shooting occurred directly east of Douglas Park and Coral Gables Hospital near Coconut Grove neighborhood. The incident occurred late Saturday night while, according to arrest reports obtained by a Miami-based ABC affiliate, WPLG, officers responded to reports of a shooting with a victim at a residence on Southwest 31st Place and arrived around 11 p.m. The victim was found suffering 4 gunshot wounds. He survived 4? Holy fazolies. He was just mad he's bald. The man, identified only as Salinas in the report, was shot once in his right wrist and 3 times in his left thigh, according to law enforcement. Cruz, who is also the victim's roommate, was still at the scene of the crime when police arrived. The 2 men had been arguing over a parking space, police reportedly said. The argument allegedly began when the victim asked Cruz to move his vehicle. The defendant is said to have declined. I'm sure he was like, "I formally reject your invitation to move said car and would like you to leave forthwith. Thank you very much." I'm sure that's exactly how that went. Saying there was nowhere else to park and he would leave the vehicle where it was. Then the argument allegedly took something of a gendered turn. Salinas, in Spanish, told Cruz he didn't know why he was acting like or he was acting tough when his wife ran the house. Police reports, he's like, "You don't wear the pantalones." And then it was on like Donkey Kong. The defendant is alleged to have responded with a presumed verbal attack on his masculinity by taking out a Glock 9mm and pointing it at the victim's neck, when he allegedly said, also in Spanish, something akin to, "Want to see the kind of man I am?" That is a trick question. You do not answer those questions. Although, also, you do not have a cousin who goes cray-cray because you say his wife wears the pants. I'm guessing, now this is, just my semi-educated guess, that there were maybe some coronas involved in this. I'm guessing that there was a little bit of booze involved in this general conversation. The victim at this point allegedly ceded to the man with the weapon and pleaded, "Don't do this, you're going to unalive me." Cruz allegedly then fired one shot, grazing his cousin's wrist and prompting the victim to run. As Salinas fled in the direction of his bedroom, 3 more shots were fired, connecting with the victim's thigh. Detectives say each of the 3 final bullets produced entry and exit wounds. Police also alleged that the, force multiplier used in the shooting was previously reported stolen in 2021. The victim was rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital, Ryder's Trauma Center, and the defendant was arrested at the scene. Cruz is currently represented by counsel and is being held without bond at the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center. Records show that the prosecutors moved for and received pretrial detention. The defendant is also ordered not to contact the victim pending trial. The judge overseeing the case determined that Cruz is not indigent, which means he will likely not be entitled to public representation, at least not in this stage of his case. So there you go. Apparently, don't question a Florida man's manhood. It might have shenanigans outings, or it might have shenanigans consequences if you try to question. In what the hell? We're giving this dude a plea deal. We are giving this dude a plea deal. I can't with America today sometimes. Illegal migrant in vicious Times Square attack on NYPD cops will spend 1 year in prison with a plea deal. One of the several illegal immigrants accused of participating in the vicious assault of 2 New York police officers in Times Square earlier this year accepted a plea deal in court Monday. Under the terms of the deal offered by the Manhattan District Court Attorney's Office, Darwin Gomez Ezequiel, 19, will serve 364 days in jail. The other migrants, Yohenry Brito, 24, Ulis Bojorges, 21, were offered plea deals to serve a year in jail in exchange for pleading guilty to second-degree assault, the New York Post reports, citing the DA's office. Patrick Henry, president of New York's Police Benevolent Association, said the suspects should be required to serve longer sentences, but that he was glad that Gomez Ezequiel pled guilty to a felony. Well, isn't that special? I mean, again, it doesn't seem like he had a work visa if he was able to beat cops. I doubt that he's worried about a felony being on his record to stop his his employment things. He made a choice. Why are we infantilizing people, acting as if they don't have agency because of their immigration status? This gentleman made a choice to attack police officers, to attack a symbol of American law enforcement. No one made him. No one said, hey, this would be a really great idea. Why? This coddling is going to end up with dangerous, dangerous consequences. And we keep having these stories of these people that are caught eventually doing something heinous, just absolutely heinous. And they were let go with piddly little things like this, slaps on the wrist all the time. And we wonder why things escalate. It irritates me to no end because it feels like an endless cycle. It feels like all of us are that guy with tinfoil on his head outside on the street yelling at obvious thing is going to cause obvious thing. And the media and elites are like, isn't that strange that this keeps happening? I just don't understand it. But please, don't you dare make a correlation with pattern and data, and points that you can find, because that would be mean and istinphobic. Anywho, off of my soapbox. However, the important test will come once his sentence is up, he said in a statement. He needs to be deported immediately upon release without setting another foot on our city streets. Henry noted that several other defendants had bigger roles in the gang assault on officers, and those cases are still pending. The case stems from a January attack on NYPD officer and lieutenant who were telling several migrants to move along a street in Times Square. Surveillance footage shows the immigrants attacking the cops, punching and kicking them on the ground. Many were charged with assault and released without bail. One of the suspects, Yorman Reveran, 24 had 2 pending cases for assault and robbery at that point in time. The attacks prompted much criticism of the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and the Biden administration over the influx and release of immigrants into the United States. And I think that's the problem, that regardless of where you stand on this issue, I think people are waking up. People are seeing the very clear, double standards. And I think while everything was good and you could pay for your groceries and you could go, out on a dinner date with your family and didn't have to break the bank, you could kind of let that slide. But I really do think that the powers that be and people in the criminal justice thing really need to seriously think about how their reform is going to basically turn a lot of people, a lot of relatively normal, middle of the road people off from actual justice reform that could be done for years and years because of how absolutely terribly they have rolled this out. As I have said many times before, I think most of us would be okay with not, ruining someone's life for a silly weed violation or something like that. But then y'all took it to, well, second degree murder really isn't violent. Kidnapping isn't violent. It is going to put it back. And you guys are not going to want the pendulum swing as people get tired of this. But that's my opinion. Anywho, in our final story, because, well, who would have this collection? And I think that the FBI could have a list on you if this is your collection of choice. But a unique collection of 163 bedpans fails to sell at auction. I guess there's only one guy who wanted it and no one else did. Everyone can collect things, but does everyone want the things that you're collecting? Can you imagine? Okay, we're going to Gramps' house. Okay, why are we going to Gramps' house? We've got to clear out his bedpan collection. He'd like to sell them all on eBay. That's your job. Do what now? Did you say bedpans? Yes, he's got 163. You're going to be listing those on eBay individually for the price point that Gramp likes. I could just see that being a family thing that the black sheep gets in charge of. The owner of what might be Europe's largest collection of bedpans is trying to find them a new home after they failed to sell at auction. Who'da thunk? Mary Jacobs, 77, of Newmarket, England, said she started her unusual collection while helping out with rummage sales at the Newmarket Salvation Army Hall in 1984. I saw a slipper bedpan come in and I bought it for 50p or 64 cents, and that was the start. I just wanted to collect something different, Jacobs told Suffolk News. It sort of snowballed from there, and I found myself going around so many places to add to my collection. Jacob now owns 163 different bedpans and has run out of room to store them. I had a cupboard built to store them in my front bedroom, but I'm getting older and need to clear some space. I hope they go to a good home. They're clean, washed, and in fantastic condition. So if you guys are avid bedpan collectors and you want the mother load, this is it. She attempted to offload her collection earlier this month in an auction conducted by Bateman's, but the tiny toilets failed to attract bidders. Offered for sale in 17 group lots varying from 6 to 12 pans in each, included classics as the improved ideal bed and douche slipper, a Jonesware Relax number 500. We're sure there's something for everyone who desperately needs to go, the auction house said in an announcement with the listing. Well, there you go. If you need bedpans, this chick has you covered, and they're all clean and apparently just ready and willing to be used again. I don't know, King Bob. I don't, I sometimes feel a little embarrassed for collecting every Sailor Moon thing that I find interesting. But, I think I'll feel better about myself today. I think, the fact that I'm not collecting bedpans is the only reason that Mr. Mo hasn't turned me in yet. So, I think I'm gonna be okay. That's the real story of the internet is anytime you feel like you're maybe not a great person, you can find a story that's like, I'm not that crazy. And I think I found that story that makes me feel okay. I am sending you guys off, not to Baker, but to Brandy. I know she doesn't, stream until later, but I know that she's been getting a lot of ridiculous, people bringing up her past and trying to attack her for things she did, oh, a gajillion years ago. And so if you just wanna send her some support, I don't condone people being absolutely ridiculous on the internet and bringing in old, trauma and bad mistakes. So, give her some support, give her some encouragement. I can't imagine what that would feel like. I have made all the dumb mistakes in my life, and I couldn't imagine if people wanted to trot those out simply because I didn't agree with them on a trial. So give her some support, it I think she's hilarious, and I dig any chick that draws on, eyebrows for verdict day. So I will see you guys in a little bit. I will be working on Newsy News, uh, a probably 1-hour stream on Politically Mo, and, Fluffy to Fit. I actually have a video today, so I'm trying to get all of those things done. So I will have hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you all around today pretty much. Have a lovely day and goodbye.